So I'm going to give a tip to all the Ford Ranger guys that do a lot of heavy off-roading and corrugations and stuff like that. All Rangers have an issue where this here wears through from constant rubbing on this front timing cover. So that'll, over time, that'll just keep wearing and wearing, and as you can see, so this is going to be a fuel injector removal and replacement video on PX Ranger. Well, similar on PX1 and PX2. This is a 2.2 litre motor. I think it's a little bit different on the 3.2, but the basic procedure is still the same. What you're going to need for this is your injector seats, which are these ones here. I'm replacing the rocket cover gasket, so I've got a spare gasket there. And there's your injector seals. Also recommend you have a 16mm dowel, which is that there, and a couple of clean rags. So first thing you want to do is disconnect your battery. Then you want to remove this intercooler pipe. It's a flathead screwdriver, hose clamp there, and another one down here, which I've already removed. These are all pretty straightforward things, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to remove them. Your next step is going to be to remove your windscreen wipers. 13mm bolts there, another one there. They'll come straight off. Just put them aside left and right. Your next step is going to be to pop these clips off here along the firewall. They're pretty easy, they just come up like that and just remove them. There's about 5 or 6 of them all along there. Just need to take them all out. There's another 2 clips there, and they're along the top as well. Alright, so the next step is to remove your wiper motor. So there's going to be a couple of 10mm bolts. You got your center one there, another one up here, and another one over there. So once your wiper motor is ready to come out, as you can see, there's a clip there. It's got to be undone. So yeah, with this plug, my one just came straight off because it is already damaged. But I'm assuming that there's a little thing that you press down on there, and you should be able to just slide that right off. Next step is to remove this shield here, which is a matter of 1, 2, 3, and 4 bolts on each side, and should come straight off. So as you can see with the shield, what I've done, I've just actually moved it out of the way, simply because there's a bit of a wiring loom that runs through it. So I just thought it's easier and quicker just to push it out of the way and have it sitting on the side there. So once you got that off, it opens up a whole bunch of room there to start working on the top. So what I've done here is just push some of the pipes away there. I've got a EGR cooler delete, so that's basically all that pipe is. So next thing you want to do is undo 4 of these 15mm plastic bolts that are located on each corner, and that'll just basically take that top cover off. So with that top cover off, now we can see the injectors. So mine's been leaking for quite a long time around those injector seals from the top there. Don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, there's a fair bit of oil sort of pooled down into there. We'll be able to see that more once I remove the injectors. So what you want to do next is just undo these injector clips, which basically just push down and slide off. Pretty straightforward. So if you're going to be removing your tappet cover, which I am going to, basically this loom just pops up like that. There's 3 clips holding it on. One there, one right down the back there. Should be able to just pop that off and just move it to the side like that. So once you've got everything to the side, this next part is going to require a little hook, which I've got here, and it's to do with the injector leak off pipes, which are these little green things. I'm going to try and attempt to film this while I do it. You've got to be really careful with these because they're very easy to break, and if you break them, you've got to basically replace that whole pipe there, which is about $400 from Ford. So it's a matter of just coming in through here and just undoing that clip like so. Once you got that clip undone, there she is. Just try and grab it if you can. This is hard filming whilst trying to do it. So yeah, that clip basically just slides straight out like that, and you should be able to remove it. So once you've removed that clip, you just got to be gentle and just wriggle that leak off pipe around really gently, not applying too much force, and it should just eventually pop off. But once again, I've got to stress how gentle you got to be. There we go, it's off. Don't try to force it off, just keep wriggling. It will eventually let go, and yeah, just repeat that process for all 4 of them, or 5 of them if you've got the 3.2 litre. So I just thought I'd stress a quick point. I've actually just lost one of my clips down there. The camera won't focus, but that's how important it is to be really, really careful and gentle with these clips. Otherwise, you'll now have this issue that I have where I've got to take off my fuel filter to get to it. So yeah, once again, be really, really careful with those clips. I've actually removed the fuel filter housing, or the plastic housing there. I've removed the battery because I've got to remove this cover here in order to get to that clip that I dropped. But good news is I probably would have had to remove all of it anyway, because this pipe here, which is the injector pipe that comes from a diesel pump, has got to be removed as well, and it's right down there, which is pretty hard to get to with all this stuff in the way. So I've just lifted up this fuse box here, a couple of clips, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just popped straight up, which has allowed me to get under here and remove a 10mm nut. And there's another nut on the other side as well. which is in there. I don't know if you can see that. So you can just push your fuse box out of the way, and that'll give you access to the second nut, which is at the back there. They're both just 10 mils. Once you got that out of the way, this hopefully should slide off, but it looks like we got something else holding it down there. So I've just removed the ECU cover, which is held on by 2 bolts there, 2 bolts up the top. So I've actually removed 4 bolts around the ECU and pushed it off to the side so I could get to that 10mm bolt there to take this cover off. Bit of a silly design, but hey, it is what it is. So I finally got this diesel filter housing bracket off. 2 10mm buried right underneath the ECU there. Bit of a pain to get to, but you'll eventually get there. So I've got all my 4 injector leak-off pipe clips back in order. So I've now got all of my injector leak-off pipes undone from the injectors. So if you just sort of push them to the side, just being as gentle as you can with them, they're pretty fragile. Now it's time to start popping these injector feed lines, which I believe are a 17mm. So it is pretty important to keep these in order, starting from the fan going back as well as your injectors, because these are coated, so you got to put them back in the same order they come out. So I've got the injector feed pipes out. They came out really straightforward, wasn't really much to them. So now you can really see just how much oil and stuff has just been pulled up at the base of those injectors. It's this thing's nearly got 300,000 Ks on it, and it's just been leaking out through those injector seals pretty furiously. So this pipe here is the next one to come off, which is 17 there. It's got a 10mm I think holding it there, and it goes back down to there, which is a little bit tight to get to, but if you've removed your battery and stuff like that, it's pretty easy to access from that side. So once all your pipe work has been removed, including the diesel injector pump line, which is that one there, you're basically ready to start removing your injectors, which is 2 8mm bolts in the middle there, one there and one there. So it's just a matter of chucking the 8mm on, giving it a turn, and they should pop right out. So basically your injectors could be in there pretty tight. These ones seem to be, but it's just a matter of sort of just slowly and gently breaking them free like this and just levering them up slowly. There we go. So you just got to be gentle with them. Might try and get this cover out of the way first. All right. There we go. Just got to get this metal spacer out of the way. Can be a bit of a little fiddly job. There we go. Once that's out of the way, they should just slide straight out. And there we go. That's one injector. Once again, very important to line these up in the way that you pulled them out. So just line them up like that, starting at the fan or the radiator and just working your way back. Also, it's important to make sure you've got those copper washers, which are down the bottom. So just make sure you have them in place as well. and just line them up like so. Alright, all the injectors are out and lined up in order they come out. So basically all that's left for me to do now is just go around the perimeter of the rocker cover and just undo all of these 10mm nuts and bolts that are holding the rocker cover on. Two 8mm at the back there. Well, at the side rather. And one more. And there we have it. Rocker cover is finally off. So time to start cleaning it all up and changing that gasket and putting everything back together again. So once you get your injectors off, you'll probably find that the old copper seal is stuck on there. I'm going to show you a safe and easy way to get them off. Basically, all you do is you catch it by the copper in the vise. Like so. Just give it a bit of a twist. This one's probably on there a little bit tighter, but there we go. Boom, and it's off. Another thing you want to do is just get the base of your injector as clean as you can with a rag, just along the base there. You want to clean that edge, like, you know, you're going to see stuff coming off, rust and stuff. You want to basically get that edge as clean as possible for the new washer to go on. Like, I'll spend a bit of time off camera cleaning that, but that's still got a bit to go there. So once you got your injector all cleaned up, it's a matter of grabbing your new washer, and you notice that the washer itself has actually got, if it'll focus, it's got a bit of a curved end and a flat end. So the curved end you want to have going up, and just basically just slide it on, and it should go on pretty snugly. So I'm just helping it on very, very gently. Once again, emphasizing being very, very gentle here. There we go, she is on, and just repeat for all the other injectors.
Alright, so once the injectors are all cleaned up, got the new copper washers on,
this is where the dowel comes in handy. So you want to cut it at about a length of maybe 1/2 meter, and wrap a bit of rag around it, but it's got to be a clean rag and something that's not going to leave any bits of contaminants down there, which I'll show you in a sec. So what I've done here, I've gotten the dowel, I've wrapped a bit of rag around it, and basically what I'm going to do now is just stick it down that hole there, and just basically just clean as much of it as you can, spinning it around and trying to catch as much of that rubbish and stuff that's down there. Just being careful not to lose the rag in there, and as you can see, it's going to come up with a lot of stuff. So you want to repeat that for all 4 of them, or if you've got a 5-cylinder, for all 5 of them. Alright, so clean piece of rag, going for the cylinder number 2, which is down there. You can really see all the contaminants in that's picking up. So this is a step you definitely don't want to miss. So I actually went through 2 times and cleaned them up using 8 different bits of rag, so 2 per cylinder, because the first time was still coming out pretty dirty. So you might have to do the same, and I probably would recommend it. But now, I don't know if we can see down there, but it's not going to focus, but it's pretty clean. Need a bit more light down there. So once you've got the mating surface all clean, it's now time to drop the rocker cover back on. So once you've got your tappet cover back on, and all your bolts back in, it's just a matter of tightening them all up to spec. So once you've torqued down to spec your rocker cover, it's now time to move on to the next step, which is installing your injectors. So if you are installing brand new injectors, you will need to, I don't know if this will focus, grab that number that's on the top of your injectors, open up Ford Scan, and program these injectors to your computer. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. I'll probably do a video one day in regards to how to do that, but at this stage, I'm just going to be putting back the same injectors, so I don't need to do it at this stage. So I've just done a quick third and final clean of the injector ports, and I've actually physically looked down each and every one and just made sure they're clean, and we're all good to go for the injector install. Once again, going in the exact same way that they came out. This here you want to slip in just as you're putting the last injector in, so it slots in like that. So as you can see, injectors are all in, ready for the fuel lines to be hooked up and torqued down to spec. So the torque spec for the rocker cover, from what I researched, was 10 Newton meters, but I'm going to leave it in your hands to do your own research because I just basically Googled it. And the actual bolt that holds down the injectors, this one here, is 6 Newton meters plus 180 degrees according to Google. Once again, I don't know if that's correct, so you'll have to do your own research and just basically trust your own judgment. So just install this pipe here, which is coming from the injector pump down there to the rail. It's just a 17 mil, which you do tight, not super tight, but tight. So basically just installing the injector feed lines, moving along from the back and working to the front. Pretty straightforward. So all these injector lines are now finger tight, and I'm going to torque down the actual injectors themselves, 2 bolts.
these two bolts are now torqued down, so I'm just gonna nip up all the injector lines now at the injector and at the rail. Now we're at the stage where we're going to be putting the injector leak-off pipes back into those holes and clipping them in, which is relatively straightforward. All that's left now is just to put your clips in, which basically go in straight like that. So with these clips, all you do is just aim for the hole. Once you got it straight, if I can get it, and film at the same time, which is proving to be quite difficult. Once you got it lined up with the hole, just push them in and send them home. So once all your leak off clips are all in, it's basically all you got left now is to just align the slume back up with your rocker cover, a couple of clips there, and just clip in your injectors one by one, which is nice and straightforward like this. Boom. It's probably the easiest part that you'll have to do. Now I'll be refitting the fuel filter housing, which is this thing. So once it's in, you've got two 10mm bolts which are down there. You got to slide the ECU out of the way to get to them, so this ECU is currently undone. It's just sort of sitting there. So it's just a matter of tightening up those two 10mm bolts and going from there. So you've got 4 nuts for the ECU, one there, another one here, another one here, and lucky last, which goes at the back here. And it's just the 10mm to tighten those ones up. There we go. So your next step is to just fit this ECU cover, which is basically 2 nuts down the back, 2 nuts up the front there, and 2 on the side here, which holds this filter housing in place. So I think they're 10mm. Bolts up like that, and you're good to go. Alright, and you snip these two up. You're good to go. So your fuse box just basically slides straight on. Just gotta position it both sides, and then this here just clips into there. It's like a bit of a loom, and that's done. So since I've got my fuel filter housing out already, I'm actually going to throw a new fuel filter in it. So I use Ford genuine fuel filters. For me, I do a lot of dusty driving, so I want to keep my sort of system pretty clean, so that's why I go off the genuine ones. You can use aftermarket, but that's entirely your choice. So this filter here has done approximately 20,000 kilometers. Ford say you got to change these every 30. I sort of go about every 20. You just don't really know, but yeah, it's definitely got a lot of stuff in it, so best to be safe rather than sorry.
So new filter is in. Basically we're just gonna slot it down there and line it up. If it wants to line up, there we go. Boom, we are done. So I've got the battery in and it's basically ready to fire up. Everything's connected up. I'm going to leave all this disconnected at the moment, especially the intake pipe, the intercooler pipe there, and the cowling, just to let it run and have a look if there's any leaks and stuff like that. So I'm going to give a tip to all the Ford Ranger guys that do a lot of heavy off-roading and corrugations and stuff like that. All Rangers have an issue where this here wears through from constant rubbing on this front timing cover. So that'll, over time, that'll just keep wearing and wearing. And as you can see, before I actually did what I did with this, it sat there for about 100,000 or just over 100,000 kilometers. And now it's got nearly 300,000. So what I do is just basically cut a bit of hose like that. And all you do is just slot it over like that. Get it in place. And once that's on, any rubbing is going to be absorbed by that rubber hose, by it just sitting there. And it's going to actually stop that wiring loom from rubbing through. So just having that sitting there like that, and it does stay on there in case you're wondering, is going to stop from the constant rubbing from corrugated roads and rough roads and stuff like that from rubbing through, and save you a whole lot of dramas in the long run. Alright, we're basically ready to fire up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it prime for a bit. Just let that fuel get into the filter. So probably leave it for about, I don't know, 10-20 seconds. There we go, you can hear it filling up. Anyways, here we go. Alright, so I've just been sitting and given it about 5 prime cycles. I got a feeling there was a fair bit of air trapped inside those injectors, so I've just, repeated this cycle for about 5 times. So it's probably been sitting for about 10 minutes and just priming, and we'll see what it does. Boom. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you found that video pretty informative. I'm going to make another video on this car when it ticks over 300,000 kilometers, which is not too far away. Just basically do a video of what's gone wrong with it and what to keep an eye on with these cars, because there are certain things that do go wrong with them, which I'll explain in the 300,000 kilometer video. So guys, thanks for tuning in. See you guys on the next one.